Can you hear it? The whispers. They've been waiting for you.
In the fall of 1984, the Palmer family, James, his wife Linda, and their teenage son Michael moved into an old farmhouse on the outskirts of Barrows Hill, a picturesque but remote town. Locals called the area Dread Hollow, a name that dates back to the 1700s, when a series of mysterious deaths plagued the region. The house had sat vacant for decades. James, a history professor, saw the home's eerie charm as an opportunity to uncover its past. But Linda and Michael felt uneasy from the moment they crossed the threshold. "There's something wrong here," Michael muttered as they explored the creaky hallways. Linda brushed it off as teenage angst, but she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The first week was uneventful until the whispers began. Linda heard them late at night, faint, unintelligible murmurs coming from the walls. She convinced herself it was the wind or the old pipes, but then Michael heard them too. "Mom, someone's in the house," he said one night, his face pale. The family searched the house from the attic to the basement, but found nothing. Then came the knocking. It always started at exactly 3:15 a.m., 3 slow, deliberate knocks on the bedroom door. James opened it each time to find no one there. By the end of the week, the knocks had escalated into loud banging, shaking the door in its frame. Desperate for answers, James visited the local library, and what he found chilled him to the bone. The house had belonged to Abigail Pierce, a midwife accused of witchcraft in the late 1600s. Town records stated she was hanged in the barn on the property, her body buried in an unmarked grave nearby. The townspeople claimed she cursed the land with her dying breath. James also discovered reports of the house's previous occupants. Each family had fled within months, citing unexplained illnesses, possessions, and violent apparitions. Determined to prove the stories wrong, James began digging in the barn one afternoon. Michael helped reluctantly, his unease growing with each shovelful of earth. After hours of digging, they unearthed a small wooden box. Inside was a bundle of dried herbs, an old lock of hair, and a brittle piece of parchment. Scrawled in faded ink were the words, "You are not welcome. Leave or suffer." One night, Linda awoke to find Michael standing at the foot of her bed, his eyes glassy, his face expressionless. "Michael," she whispered. He tilted his head, a sinister smile creeping across his face. In a voice that wasn't his, he hissed, "She's here." James burst into the room, snapping Michael out of his trance. But the damage was done. From that moment, Michael became withdrawn, his behavior increasingly erratic. He scribbled strange symbols on his walls and muttered to himself in a language no one recognized. The family decided to leave the house, but on their last night, the spirit made its intentions clear. At precisely 3:15 a.m., the house erupted in chaos. The windows shattered. The walls bled dark, oozing liquid. A deafening scream echoed through the halls, shaking the very foundation of the home. As they ran to their car, the barn door slammed shut behind them. Through the rearview mirror, Linda swore she saw a figure standing in the upstairs window, a gaunt woman in a tattered dress, her hollow eyes fixed on the fleeing family. The Palmers never returned to Dread Hollow. They sold the house at a loss, warning the new owners of the horrors they endured. But no one believed them until the next family vanished without a trace. Today, the farmhouse stands abandoned, its windows boarded up, its fields overgrown. Locals say if you stand outside the barn at 3:15 a.m., you'll hear the screams of Abigail Pierce, cursing anyone who dares trespass on her land. And so, the legend of Dread Hollow lives on. If you're ever in Maine and stumble upon an abandoned farmhouse, think twice before stepping inside. Because some doors, once opened, can never be closed.